Elena had always believed in loyalty. It wasn't just a value. It was a cornerstone of how she lived, how she loved. Her 6-year relationship with Daniel was the embodiment of that belief, or so she thought. They had built a life together, shared bank accounts, family holidays, Sunday morning rituals with coffee and jazz. She had envisioned a quiet proposal by the lake where they first met, a wedding surrounded by autumn leaves, children with Daniel's dimples. But sometimes love wears a mask, and masks eventually fall. The revelation came like a knife. It wasn't loud. It wasn't even a dramatic confrontation. It was a message sent by accident. Daniel meant to forward it to her, the other woman. He called her baby. He said he'd explain everything to Elena soon. He never got the chance. Shock doesn't always scream. Sometimes it sits in your chest like a heavy stone, pulling your ribs inward. Elena didn't cry at first. She didn't scream. She just sat in the living room, phone in hand, staring at those few sentences like they were written in another language. She didn't storm into the bedroom and demand answers. She didn't destroy his things. Instead, she packed a bag. As she zipped it shut, Daniel walked in. "Elena, why is your suitcase?" "You don't need to explain," she interrupted, her voice calm but firm. "You sent the message. That's enough." He stammered. "It's not what you think. I think you lied to me. For how long, I don't know, but long enough to become someone I don't recognize." His mouth opened again, but no words came. She stood, looked him in the eyes, and said, "I'm not staying where I'm not respected. I deserve better, and I won't lower myself to begging you to love me honestly." And then she walked out. In the days that followed, Daniel bombarded her with messages, apologies, justifications, promises of change. Friends called, asking if she wanted to confront him or get revenge. But Elena chose silence, not out of weakness, out of wisdom. She had learned that dignity wasn't about winning a war of words or getting the last say. It was about knowing your worth and refusing to bargain away for closure or revenge. She didn't tell the world what happened. She didn't air his betrayal on social media. Instead, she focused on rebuilding her own life, therapy, journaling, long walks in the evening sun. Months passed. The pain softened, no longer a roaring storm, but a distant echo. She changed her number, moved to a new apartment, started her own online business, a passion project she put off for years while put his needs first. One evening at a friend's gallery event, she met someone, Adrian. He didn't rush her, didn't charm her with grand gestures. He asked questions, listened, respected her silence about the past. She smiled more, laughed freely, and though she didn't fall in love immediately, she trusted herself again. A year later, Elena ran into Daniel by chance, outside a bookstore. He looked older, thinner, weary in a way that had nothing to do with age. He tried to speak, but she gently raised a hand. "It's okay. You don't owe me anything anymore. I just wanted to say, I regret everything." "I'm sure you do," she said softly, "but I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm here because I've healed. And I hope someday you learn what real love looks like. It starts with honesty." Then she smiled, turned, and walked away, not with bitterness, but with grace. Epilogue. Walking away isn't weakness. Walking away isn't giving up. It's choosing peace over chaos, self-respect over validation, closure from within instead of noise from without. Elena didn't win because Daniel lost her. She won because she remembered her worth and never let betrayal define her. Because the best way to handle betrayal isn't rage or revenge. It's walking away with dignity and never looking back. Despite her calm exit, Elena's nights were not free of storms. She would lie awake at 3 a.m., eyes wide open in the darkness, wondering if she should have yelled, if she should have screamed at Daniel, if walking away made her seem passive, weak. But then she'd remind herself of one simple truth. Self-control is not weakness. Restraint is power. And sometimes, dignity is a louder protest than destruction. Still, the silence had its costs. The betrayal had cracked something deep. Her ability to trust not just others, but herself. How had she missed the signs? Had she been blind? Naive? These questions haunted her. Therapy became a lifeline. Her therapist, Dr. Imani, didn't offer quick fixes. She listened, asked tough questions. What would you say to a friend who went through what you did? I'd tell her she deserved more, Elena whispered. Then why do you struggle to believe it for yourself? That question stayed with her for weeks. Elena created a ritual. Each morning, she stood in front of her mirror and said 3 things aloud. I was not the cause of his betrayal. I deserve love rooted in truth. Walking away saved me. At first, the affirmations felt hollow, forced. But over time, the words began to feel like truth pressing through cracked soil. She started running again, something Daniel never liked because it took time away from their evenings. She dyed her hair auburn on a whim. She joined a writing circle and poured her pain into poetry. One night, she performed her piece titled The Woman Who Left at a spoken word event. It wasn't a poem about heartbreak. It was about rebirth. The crowd gave her a standing ovation. But the moment that stayed with her most was when a young woman came up afterward with tears in her eyes. Thank you, she said. Your story gave me the strength to leave someone who was breaking me. That night, Elena finally cried, not from pain, but from release. Adrian wasn't perfect. He left his socks everywhere, hummed when he focused, and burned toast more often than not. But he never made her feel small. He never kept secrets. He honored her boundaries. One evening, while they cooked together, him dicing vegetables, her stirring the sauce, Adrian said, I know you've been hurt. I won't promise I'll never make mistakes, but I promise to never disrespect you. Ever. Elena didn't respond right away. Instead, she walked to the balcony, letting the breeze hit her face. And then quietly she whispered, Thank you. That means more than you know. In truth, it was the first time she felt truly safe with someone again. Months later, while organizing a box of old journals, Elena found a letter she had written to Daniel but never mailed. It read, I hope someday you grow enough to recognize the difference between desire and love. I hope the next woman you meet sees the truth before it scars her. And I hope you learn that betrayal is not strength. It is cowardice in disguise. She folded it once, twice, then smiled and burned it. She didn't need him to read it. The message wasn't for him. It was for her. 2 years to the day since she walked out of that apartment, Elena stood in front of a classroom of young women in a workshop called The Art of Leaving. She shared her story, but more importantly, she listened to theirs. When one participant asked, What's the best way to handle betrayal when it destroys everything you believed in? Elena answered without hesitation. You let it break what needs to be broken. Your illusions, not your spirit. You don't beg, chase, or try to win someone back. You walk away, with your back straight, your heart open, and your dignity intact. Because how you leave tells the world how you deserve to be treated. Elena didn't become unbreakable. She became whole, a woman who would cry, fall, stand, and rise again without bitterness. She didn't just survive betrayal. She transcended it. Because sometimes the most radical thing you can do in a world that expects you to scream, destroy, or beg is to walk away gracefully, silently, powerfully, and never turn around. Elena sat beneath a sycamore tree in the park near her new apartment, the same place she had once walked, numb and unsure of who she was after leaving Daniel. Today, sunlight filtered through the leaves, warming her skin, and she felt still, truly still, for the first time in years. She pulled out her journal and wrote one final line on the last page. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need an apology. I needed me, and I came back to myself, stronger, wiser, softer. She closed the notebook and smiled. The journey had been long. It had hurt, but it had also carved out space for something far greater than what was lost. Not every betrayal needs a battle. Not every ending needs noise. Sometimes a quiet exit, the dignified one, is the most powerful choice of all. Elena didn't just walk away. She walked toward a life where she was no longer surviving someone else's choices, but thriving in her own. And that was her victory.